Hi, I hope you're all doing well. A couple of weeks ago, I posted this question about what are the food groups that actually make you feel guilty when you eat them. And I posted it on my stories and I got a bunch of responses. I actually sat down with a pen and paper to try and see what are the dominant themes. And I just want to say that it's both funny and scary that almost every food group made it to the list. From meat and dairy and rice and potatoes to actual sweets, lentils, protein, fat, everything, And it's funny because, we've come, we're in an age where we're so scared of eating every little thing. We're always, thinking twice. We don't know who to believe. There's so much conflicting information in the media. And it's scary because a lot of this is actually, very different from science. So for example, we don't know what is a myth, what is a fact, we don't know who to believe. And a lot of what we hear today is actually coming as information from existing food companies and a lot of their marketing, which is a very scary way to actually consume the right kind of information. So what I thought is I'm going to make these bunch of sit down videos. I'm going to pick one food category every week and I'm going to try and cover in detail some guidelines to keep in mind and to decide whether you should have that food category or not and how to have it, right? So my three things that I'm going to focus on is source, quantity, timing. What is the best source to have it? What quantity should you be looking at? What is the best time to have it, right? And usually around a lot of these there are also existing myths. So I want to try and bust some of those myths for you as well, okay? The topic that I've chosen for this week is actually one of the most controversial topics, and it is, I would say, this huge trend which has washed over so many countries and so many of our food choices in the past 10 years, or more specifically in the past 5 years, and that is dairy. Should you have dairy or should you not have dairy? This is the most confusing question. There are so many, big doctors, nutritionists, dietitians, talking about how dairy is extremely bad for you. And then there are so many other, Indian doctors, Ayurvedic specialists who say that dairy is very good for you. And then there is a completely third different theme that's going on, which is veganism, which is this, spiritual or political ideology where you say no to anything that comes from, the industry which exploits animals, and so you've decided to not have dairy. Let's dive right into it. Like I said, there are three dominant themes, right? Let's first pick up when people say that dairy is actually bad for you. So the point of view is that dairy has a lot of hormones, there's a lot of antibiotics in dairy, the supply chain is not very good, and so what ends up happening is that you have substandard dairy, and because of the quality of the dairy, you actually are not able to digest it. And of course, there's also additional viewpoints that the casein protein in dairy itself is so difficult to digest that for most people it's not good. It can cause hormonal balances, skin breakouts, rashes, acne, bloating, flatulence, and so on and so forth, right? It's important to understand why this is so. A lot of what we hear about dairy actually comes to us from the West, which is largely the United States. What has actually happened from a food systems perspective is that a lot of the kinds of cows and the kinds of rearing culture and all of that is actually substandard, and therefore it affects the quality of the milk that comes. And low quality milk actually does more harm than good. So it is very true that you can end up with flatulence, bloating, and a lot of other these problems which are related to intolerance if you're having milk. If you are in Western countries, in fact a lot of my clients who come to me from the US and UK, I always tell them that it's very important for them to double check whether milk is suiting them, and if it's not suiting them, what are the alternatives. And also I tell them very specifically what are the signs they should look for in the milk that they actually buy. Okay, now let's park that thought for a second. There's this completely opposite thought which is in India, which is that we've always had milk. Mothers, grandmothers, ancestors have always had milk. Milk is very important, it strengthens your bones and a lot of other things like that. In Ayurveda specifically also, there are so many problems where we tell you specifically to have milk, and I've recommended milk to a lot of my patients as well. But it's very important to understand that this school of thought comes from a very specific indigenous cow. So if the milk is coming from the local indigenous cow and not the Jersey cow, then it's really good for you. that means that you're actually able to metabolize it. However, it's also very important to understand that milk has to be organic, in the sense that if you are still going to purchase from a company that is pumping antibiotics into these cows and they are living in unhealthy conditions, then the milk you're going to get is going to continue to be substandard. And any time you are consuming an animal product, if it is not good quality, if it is not organic, if it is not free range, then you're going to have an issue. Good thing about being in India is that there are a lot of small scale local dairies where you can tie up and you can actually start sourcing your milk if you decide to have milk. So I'm going to cover that bit also in a little more detail slightly later. The third thing that I'm going to talk about is veganism. Okay, veganism says that any animal product is actually very, very bad for you. They cite a lot of research and they always tell you that you should not have milk and milk is really bad for you and all of that. Full disclosure, I am lactose intolerant and so I don't drink milk, but it does not stop me from actually prescribing milk to my patients. And the reason for that is the quantity of the milk, the source of the milk, and the timing of the milk can actually make or break whether it's going to help you or actually cause problems for you. It's a very common thing to believe that the moment you take milk off, you stop having a lot of these symptoms, and it is actually very true, because one of the first things that any doctor would tell you if you're having skin conditions or any kind of indigestion is to stop dairy. In fact, even local cultural common sense tells us that if you are ill, if you are having any kind of issues, the first thing you should take off is dairy, and the reason for that is because it is so hard to digest. Okay, so this is very true. However, that does not make milk bad completely, and that is the nuance that we need to understand. So let me come down to the specifics, right? When you are sourcing your milk, it has to be organic, it has to come from the A2 Gir cow, it has to be as local a variety as possible. Try and avoid the Jersey cow milk, and you also need to be very sure of the actual supply chain, because if the cow has been fed antibiotics or has been treated badly, then the kind of milk and the subsequent dairy products that you will have can actually have a bad impact. And being this diligent about knowing the source of your food is actually very good also, because then you are actually putting pressure on the market to supply to you what is really good quality and what is really ethical. So that is very important, and I am all for it. The second thing you need to take care of is, can you digest milk? Okay, how do you decide that? First of all, there are actual tests that let you understand whether you are lactose intolerant or not. Secondly, get in touch with a health practitioner who can actually guide you whether you're able to digest milk or not, and how you can actually bring back milk into your diet if it is required. And the third thing that you need to actually watch out for are signs that are clear telltales that you might be having problems digesting milk, which is bloating, flatulence, bad breath. It could be indigestion, undigested food, feeling sluggish, slow, fatigued after having milk every day. So this needs to be corrected from the bottom up. If you are still unable to digest milk, even though your gut is completely healthy, then you know that you are lactose intolerant, or you are having problems metabolizing milk, and so you should try and avoid milk. And then of course is the third thing, which is if you are vegan, or if you've chosen to be vegan and you decide not to have milk, then you need to supplement your diet with the right kind of alternative sources. There's a very common notion that taking milk off your diet is healthy and it is a healthier option and it makes you healthier. That's actually incorrect. I think that there's not a lot of truth to it. And like I've said before, I'm vegan. I've chosen to not have milk, but those are for very, very specific reasons. So, find out and clarify those reasons with your doctor, with your health practitioner, and only then decide whether or not you should have milk or not. And then is the third thing, which is timing. That is, if you choose to have milk, or if you are able to digest milk, or if you want to add milk to your diet, or if you need to add milk into your diet, what is the right way to have it? The right way to have milk is with a good accompaniment. So it could be the right kind of spices, it could be the right kind of fat, it could be with the right kind of powders that help you digest the milk, one, and two, milk is a great carrier for a lot of these spices. So for example, one of the best ways that milk has been added into our diet is through what we today known as turmeric latte or haldi doodh, and that's because, have you ever wondered why? That's because when you add turmeric and you add a little bit of black pepper to your milk, it helps the absorption of turmeric better, and the fat in the milk actually helps heal your gut. It is able to put the right kind of pressure so you can sleep well. It also helps, in your digestion and overall how your body metabolizes the milk at night. So that's a great way to have milk. Similarly, for young kids, milk can be a great source of strength. In fact, if you look at some of our Olympians, some of our athletes, in fact, look at even Neeraj Chopra, who's just won the Olympics, he swears by having 2 liters of milk. That's how it has been in his hometown, that's what he's grown up with, that's what he's learned, that's what his mom, dad, family has been having for years. So in the north, they swear by the milk and having milk and how it increases the strength in the body. So it's very important to understand what is your body able to digest, and only then decide whether dairy is good or bad. And I know that it is very tempting to share all of these videos and carousels and one square posts about dairy is good or bad or avoid it, or it is got all of these issues. But you really need to dig into the truth, okay? And I hope I have given you a lot of context in terms of how to evaluate whether or not you should have milk. And the next time you hear contradicting information, that there's somebody who's saying you should have milk and somebody who's saying you should not have milk, now you will know how to look at it. Now you will know what is their point of view, where are they coming at it from, okay? What are the specific research articles that they are citing? You can actually even tell that by the kind of stance they have, okay? So I hope this video helped, and if you have any more specific questions about milk and dairy and when you should have it and what timing, post them in the comments. I'm happy to answer. And yeah, I'll come back next week and talk about another food group. Thank you so much for your time and take care. Bye.